My name's Dan Bryson. My firm is Milberg, Coleman, Bryson, Phillips, and Grossman, and I live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I am the current president of Public Justice. I've been involved in public justice for, over 10 years. I had a friend Andrew Lemon, who invited me to a public justice function, I believe in Vancouver, Canada, 10, 12 years ago. To a public justice event, said you might like these people. So I attended the event and really enjoyed it. And as a result of that, I joined public justice. Yeah, I wasn't on the board originally. I was just, kind of I guess, a nobody attorney from North Carolina, and I got involved and I asked, where do you most have a need? And I was told, well, no one really wants to be on the membership committee. So I said, okay, I'm happy to serve on the membership committee, and joined that. And then I went to a board meeting that was in Cleveland, and Jack Landsgroner was president, and I wasn't on the board yet. I was just on a committee, on the membership committee, and I went to that board meeting. Jack was the president, and we had the board meeting or a dinner at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I thought it was a wonderful time. It was a wonderful evening. We came back to Jack's house, and as a result of that, I really felt like I had found a home of kind of like-minded people. When I got involved with public justice, I was really looking for an organization to plug into to amplify my impact. In North Carolina, we'd handle a case, and that would just be the end of it there in North Carolina. But with public justice, I saw them doing national cases, having a national impact. And I thought, well, I would really like to plug into this organization, do my little bit, my little part to help the overall organization and the great cases that they were working on, to try to get justice for people. A lot of the cases kind of caught my eye. I was kind of mesmerized at the board meeting. A lot of the staff attorneys will give conversation. Will give a little talk about the cases they're working on, and I was blown away at some of the things they were doing. Paul Bland with access to courts, fighting arbitration clauses, which is like a real kudzu on our legal system, choking it out. If you've got to go to arbitration, you can't get into court, and that has so many ramifications. Adele Kimmel with the great work she was doing, Title IX and various discriminatory practices that would happen, bullying type cases. I remember some bullying that would happen in school systems that were known by the school board members or the school system, and horrible bullying. It would take your breath away, some of the things that happen, and then they wouldn't fire that teacher, or they wouldn't really do anything. So, Adele would come in, or public justice would come in and file a lawsuit to stop that type of practice that was occurring. And I was just so proud of the work they were doing in these areas, because they were really trying to, have file impactful lawsuits to kind of have systemic change. Yeah, I have seen a lot of growth in the organization over the decade that I have been really in the trenches and heavily involved. The organization has gone from a small organization of just a handful of attorneys to where I think there's 22 lawyers today that are really divided into certain program areas. The food project, the for-profit prisons, environmental, access to justice, civil rights. And the organization has become more organized into these different program areas that I think has been very, very positive development. Early on, a lot of the cases were handled by the attorney working the case. And sometimes they would partner with other law firms. But I think today, the staff and Paul and the attorneys are often in collaborations with other law firms to more aggressively be able to pursue these cases, so that the defendants on the other side see not only is it the public justice lawyers who are brilliant in the work that they're doing, but they have some other law firms behind them to give the additional resources. Well, I think a lot of states are subcontracting prison prisons to for-profit prison organizations. And if you've got a company that can come in on a for-profit basis and run a prison, that gives rise to all sorts of terrible things that can happen, right? There's really not a good or proper oversight of that. So you have prisoners who are really, your imagination is the reality of prisoners being abused in a for-profit kind of way. What little money they may earn in the prison is taken away by the for-profit prison because they're doing this for profit, and there's just a lot of prisoner abuse that happens with the prisoners as a result of giving it to these companies. And not only that, I mean, they're not getting proper health care. They're not getting a lot of things like that. A prisoner will have maybe a terrible health condition where they need immediate medical attention, but because the for-profit organization is just wanting to maximize profits, they don't have proper medical care there, and then that prisoner dies, or has something, some other terrible thing that happens. So that's a lot of what we're seeing with that. It's just a terrible industry that should be totally shut down. Well, sure. I think early on in my tenure, the organization looked for impactful lawsuits to file. But because they were smaller, they would come in and file an impactful lawsuit, maybe perhaps against a school system to change their bullying tactics, and then would hope there would be publicity from that would dissuade other school systems from engaging in that same type of terrible behavior. The organization has evolved, though, in our mission. The mission of the course is to file impactful lawsuits to inform, to create systemic change. And so today we have a much more robust marketing and communications department, so that when decisions come down that are excellent decisions or impactful decisions, we're able to promote or broadcast results of that so much better than we did before. Again, trying to force systemic change, to not be the result of just one lawsuit, but to change an entire industry or area that might need changing. Well, there's a case selection committee that the board has that considers case requests. So if somewhere in the country there's a case request, or if someone within the staff or some of the staff attorneys have a case idea, they bring it to the case selection committee to consider. And one of the key criteria is this a case that can be an impactful case, a high impact case? Is this case a case that can help us, cause systemic change? And that's the biggest criteria. It's just it could be a very important case, but if if it's not a high impact case that could give national publicity or help cause systemic change, then perhaps it's not a case that we should take. And that's the debate that the case selection committee has all the time. Do you want to help make a difference? Do you want to support an organization that is out there fighting for justice? Doesn't matter if there's a fee involved. It doesn't matter if they can make money at it. What matters is this an area where we need to bring justice, where we need to try to find justice for these people that don't have justice? And if that's important to you, then support this organization, because that's what they're out there doing every single day. Paul Bland and the other 21 attorneys in public justice every single day are out trying to bring justice in a way that private law firms are not doing. Private law firms are out trying to get good results for their clients, but they're also trying to make a fee and make a living. Within public justice, they're trying to bring justice to people in these various sectors that we were talking about. And public justice is fighting for the little guy. That is their mission. If you've been bullied or if you've been discriminated against, public justice is the organization that's out there fighting for you every single day. And so this is an organization that you should care about. Even if you're not an attorney, this is an organization that you should support, because here are attorneys that are going to battle to try to, have a better society, a more just society. And that is their mission. That is what they're fighting for, is they're fighting for you, the people who aren't, that'll support this organization that aren't lawyers. Public justice is fighting for you. And that's what people need to understand. The only day you're promised is today. I had a past president in this organization, Jack Lanskrona, recently passed away, and it really had a heavy impact on me. He lived every day to the fullest, and he did all he could every day of his life, and it's impressed upon me. I need to do everything that I can to help this organization, to do my little bit, because you're not promised any day but today. A lot of us, we've won the lottery of life. We're able to sit here and be involved in this organization, make a good living, and have a good life. But a lot of people have not been dealt the same hand that we have. And if we don't do our little bit, if I don't do my little bit to try to help make the world a better place, to try to bring justice to people who aren't able to find justice, who don't have a lawyer to help them out. Public justice is out trying to help them. If I don't do my little part, what kind of person am I? Not a very good. I think the organization's in a very, very good place today. Under Paul Bland's leadership, we have a great leader who is very smart, knowledgeable about the cases, who's a great ambassador for the organization. We have a number of staff attorneys within the organization who are doing great things of all varying levels of seniority. In the past, when the organization was a lot smaller, I think a lot of the board members had to really pitch in a lot to do all the things that needed to be done. Arthur Bryant was a great leader for many, many years of public justice. Today, though, the staff is doing a great job. As a board, we need to continue to think, how can we best support this organization? What can we do to really help? And so I think a challenge that we have is to challenge the staff of public justice to remember that, as brilliant as all of you guys are, remember that you got a board that is equally talented in many areas. And let's make sure we don't lose that collaboration between the board and the staff, because I think if the staff listens to the advice of a lot of the board members, it'll make the organization and what they're doing even better and stronger. I hope in another 10 years, public justice is a lot larger than it is today. I hope that our communication and marketing efforts are even more robust than they are today, so that whenever there's an issue of injustice that comes up, whether it be police misconduct or Black Lives Matter or whatever the issue is, people think public justice is there helping to force systemic change, and that all of the media outlets, they call public justice for comment. That's what I would like for it to be, that public justice would be synonymous with those types of things. The one thing I would like to say is that it was pretty humbling to become president, and it was a little bit intimidating because we have so many incredible past presidents in this organization that are so incredibly accomplished, and they did such great things when they were president of the organization. So the challenge for me is to try to be just half as good as virtually all of them, and it will have been a pretty good year for me.